Okay. Streaming away. Obligatory throat clearing. That's not the module I want. I think it's the one called fuel module. So it's actually not really a fuel module. It is more of a engine module. Yeah, and that is designed to deliver these nuclear engines to my space station. And let's see, I think I got everything set on this, don't I? RCS, I got RCS here, RCS here. Takeoff should be okay, I think. So let's give it a go. Clear the launch pad. Okay, I'm actually trying to remember how to take these things off, but I think you put the throttle at about this notch is the key to not blowing up, if I remember correctly. I did not check the orbital distance. Also, is that game volume loud? Yeah, let me turn that down. This game is very, very loud, rocket-wise. I don't know why there's a voices mod. I don't think there's any voices in the game. Anyway. That's a little better. It'll be a pretty tedious takeoff. I believe this is almost the exact same design that I was trying to do earlier and failing because it didn't have the RCS in the right spot. So the catch here is that I'm actually launching this rocket backwards. So when I got up to the space station, I actually need to turn it around and set my piloting to the connector node, which the game lets you do, which is nice, and that just orients all of your stuff, your nav ball and stuff, to that as being the front of your ship, if that makes sense. Now, if I remember this rocket right, the second stage is extremely unstable, and so what I need to really start doing is start tilting it towards the 90-degree mark right before I eject the first stage, so I don't have to make any course corrections during the entirety of the second stage, which is hard to correct because it makes my rocket really long and funky. So I'll let it go another, I don't know, 20 seconds or so, and then start course correcting here a little bit. 20,000 meters is about when you want to do that anyway, so it's not a big deal in this case. Okay, let's start steering it over. It's actually not easy to pilot before you stage either. Yeah, it's gonna wobble a bit. Yeah, it's a wobbly rocket. Oh man, that's a wobbly rocket. Okay, if I can keep it like this, we'll be good. So my goal here is to attain an orbit of as close to 100 kilometers as possible and as close to exactly 90 degrees as possible, which means I need to get me some horizontal velocity here. Oh wow, this is a wobbly rocket. Spaz all over the keyboard trying to keep this thing oriented, but we're in a good position now. It's actually easier to maneuver if I turn off the engine, but of course if you turn off the engine, you kind of screw yourself a little bit. Okay, I got my altitude right. Let's set this all the way to 100 degree, or I mean 100% 90. Ugh. What am I trying to say? Nav ball is 100% at the 90 degree mark. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Whatever it is, that's what I'm trying to say. Spinning like a crazy mofo. And I can't correct it. Well, that's it. That stage is gone anyway. This should make it a little more maneuverable. Oh, for Christ's sake, this is terribad. Okay, now we're getting something reasonable looking. Okay, now we're good. That was a bad takeoff. I'm getting my rotational axis wrong, and I'm probably not even close to a 90-degree orbit, but that's okay. We'll keep going like we're going, and get our shit into orbit, and then we'll correct from there. If I remember right, this rocket does have plenty of fuel, so hopefully it won't be an issue. The target speed here is about 2,100 meters per second. So that's the point at which you want to start taking a look at your map and figuring out how to circle off your orbit. Fortunately, I really don't want to be gaining altitude right now, and my rocket is still just going up crazy. Yeah, see this orbit, I never, because of that wobbly second stage, I've never been able to totally master this rocket, but that, man, it always ends up way too high, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Okay, let's start slowing down the engine. We're getting close. So what we'll do is we'll get our tail end at exactly 100 meters will be our goal here, and then we can correct from there. 20, 30, 40, 60, 70, 90, 89, 100. Okay. There we go. And gobs of fuel. That's good. Let's get our solar cells out, which I believe I have on this thing. Yeah, I do. Good. Always want some solar cells to power your systems. And the nice thing is the solar cells, we can turn on our lights too. The solar cells generate enough power to keep the lights going indefinitely, so we're not going to lose battery charge. This spacecraft, actually, I put a battery on it too. You can see this little stripe here is just a big battery, so it's got plenty of electricity. Okay, so our next step here is to catch up with our command center, which is going to be annoying. The good news is our orbit is a heck of a lot slower than its. So the bad news is we only have one intersection point, which is right there. I don't know what we're going to do. Let's see what it looks like if we go through an orbit. Let's see if those pink controls get close when we reach our periapsis. And if they get even remotely close, maybe I can just do this in one orbit. We'll see. Actually, it looks like the station's going to get way ahead of us, so yeah, it's not going to work like I thought it would, unfortunately. It's going to be way ahead of us. Oops, camera spazzed out a little bit there. Okay, well, not a big deal. Let's go ahead and get this orbit a little more reasonable, since we're not going to intersect it this time. I actually don't. It's hard to fiddle with when that thing's in the way. Okay, there we go. So what we'll do is add a maneuver. We'll adjust our green so that we are roughly in the same orbit as the station. That's actually really good. The intersection isn't too shabby either. But unfortunately, I'm not really in a good position to get an exact intersection here. Anyway, it looks like despite that really sloppy takeoff, our vertical axis is actually pretty good. Might be able to tweak it a little bit here. Oops, a little too far. There we go. And that gets us in really kind of a close, or maybe too close. I wonder if I actually want to bump it out a bit. Well, whatever. Let's just do this burn, see what it looks like, and go from there. So this is my ass-ended spaceship. Right now, this is my thruster that will actually be doing the burn, and the other one is just kind of there. And of course, the resource you kind of want to be careful with is our monopropellant. I don't know, should be okay for the time being. Where's my burn marker on the gimbal here? Wait, where is it? What the heck? There it is. I have 1 minute and 3 seconds to find my burn marker. Okay, there we go. Okay, perfect. Okay, 45 seconds. We will do our burn. Thirty seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Burn. That's a pretty good burn. That's about as close as you get. Okay, let's see how we did. Okay, we did really good. So we're about frickin', I don't know, where's my target here? So we're about 411 kilometers behind it in almost the exact same orbit, which is kind of irritating, but let's turn up the speed and see if we're catching up or going away from it. That's 424. It only updates those distances once per orbit, which is a little annoying. It'd be nice if it was like a running log, but I can understand the math is probably somewhat complicated. 413, 427. Okay, it looks like we're slowly gaining on it. Yeah, maybe not. Yeah, I'm too precise here. These are on the almost exact same orbit here. I'm not intersecting at all. So let's make this orbit a little faster so I catch up. Ooh, that would be dangerous. See, I can get my periapsis down about 80. That's too low. That's too low. 73. That's actually lower. 78, that's good enough. Okay, let's do this burn. In 9 minutes. I'm gonna sit here for 9 minutes and do not. No, I guess I'll just speed it up. Actually, I should aim my nose cone towards the burn marker first, huh? So figure out where the hell it is. There it is. So it's doing pretty good on the RCS. There we go. Okay, let's speed up for 4 minutes. So what I'm doing right now is delivering a fuel tank and 3 nuclear engines to my space station to turn it from a space station into a spaceship. That's my goal here. A really big one with a crew of 6, I think, or 7, I can't remember. And this is going to be a very short burn, so I'm going to use a small fraction of my throttle here. Especially if I burn too much, I'll burn up in the atmosphere, which is no good. Okay, that's good enough. Get rid of my obsolete maneuver point. Whoops. And yeah, it's lower than I'd like. I like 80, but whatever, that's good enough. At least now we'll catch up to that station, so speed it up, see what happens. So you can see every time I pass that marker, these are going to go about 70 closer. This one's actually, maybe even next orbit, those will be close enough to do a final burn. We'll see. When I say final burn, what I mean is burn to get within about 5 kilometers of the space capsule, at which point, the space station. Once you're within about 5 capsules, you can just kind of ad hoc it from there. That's still in separation of 225. That's pretty far. Riveting narration. Look, I have a fan club. Unfortunately, I don't think this video capture program uses or displays the Steam messages on the stream. Okay, this is going to be my orbit here. Oh yeah, look at that. That's nice and close. Let's do a burn about, let's slow down. Let's do a burn. Oh, I'm using, I got a question about what I'm streaming. I don't know actually what I'm streaming resolution-wise. I am using the open broadcast software instead of I'm actually using its default settings, so I'm not sure what exactly resolution it defaults to. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 1080. But it seems to have a better encoder than than XSplit, which is what I've always used in the past, so I kind of switched to it, I think. Wow, just putting an add maneuver there gets me within 30 kilometers, but I know that that's just kind of a quirk of the way the system works and not real. I don't know, maybe it is. Not that I can burn that quick and then turn around. That would be pretty unlikely. Well, actually, I don't know. Maybe I can pull this off. Let's see. Yeah, okay, that's actually another orbit passed, so I think what it's telling me is that if I do that burn, once I orbit all the way around, I'll have a separation of only 12 kilometers, which is pretty goddamn good, actually. So let's go ahead and give it a try. It's 17 minutes from now. This thing's dragging a lot of fuel, so it maneuvers pretty slow. In fact, if I was better, what I should be doing is actually turning off my RCS, saving the RCS for when I actually need it. And when I have like 17 full minutes to maneuver, I should be using my my SAS only, but unfortunately I'm kind of an idiot, so I'm not doing that. And also, if I was really, really wanted to be frugal, I could disable the RCS in the middle of the rocket, which isn't doing much good right now. Other than burning fuel, it's not helping me maneuver that much. But again, I don't care that much. Okay, let's speed up for 16 minutes. Slow down a bit. A beginner's mistake from pretty much everyone I've talked to who's played this game is to be a little too crazy with the accelerate time. And when they're doing maneuvers like this, they'll accelerate way past when they're supposed to burn. Or if you're really unlucky, excuse me, if you're doing planetary maneuvers, you accelerate right into a planet because you're not paying enough attention. And the maximum time acceleration for planetary stuff is like 10,000x or something crazy like that. Okay, this is going to be a pretty delicate burn. It's only 3.8 meters per second, which will go in no time at all. Whoop. Yeah, I kind of effed it up. Well, let's see what that looks like on our map here. We got 129 separation. Yeah, not as good as I was hoping for. Oh, wait. No, never mind. It recalculated. Now it's 8.9. Never mind. I'm calling that good. 8.8. 8.8 is still a little bit far. This intersection is going to take a little more fuel than I normally like, but I got quite a bit of fuel in this tank. I'm not going to worry about it too much. So when I get about a minute away, let's see, what is that, 11 minutes? When I get about a minute away from that intersection, I'm going to go ahead and start the process of canceling off the speed in my own orbit and then adding speed into the capsule's orbit, which will lead us to a speed differential of 0 instead of 60 meters per second, 67. So that means I need to find, well, I know where it is. It's 180 degrees from the dot one there. Okay, so let's get aimed up here. And what I'm going to do, what I'm going to do is burn here, get that target speed down as low as it'll go before it starts getting back up. And the goal, of course, is to have a target speed of 0. So that basically takes a bunch of speed off my orbit, and now what I can do is aim myself at the other rocket's orbit and add some speed back on, and I'm going to be continuing this process 4 or 5 times. I'm going to get this up to, let's say, 50 meters per second, since I'm still pretty damn far away. That's close enough. Okay, so there's my Station 1 command. Now, one thing you can do is you can actually look at the map and see how close you're getting. Okay, so after that first burn, I've taken my intersection from 8 kilometers to 3 kilometers, which is pretty good. I think that says 3.0 and not 3.8. I can't read. Yeah, 3.0. So what I can do now is kind of preemptively aim myself in the right direction here because, again, this takes a few minutes when I'm full of fuel and you don't want to waste that time. But once I'm aimed there, I can actually accelerate time until I'm within about, I don't know, say 3.5 kilometers of the station. And at that point, I'll do another burn exactly like the one we just did. And, you know, get our relative speed down as low as it'll go, which should be pretty close to 0 at 3 kilometers, and then do a burn into its orbit. So basically bleeding off speed from my orbit and adding speed in its orbit. Okay. So, I don't know if I want to... let's accelerate time. What the hell? I'll live dangerously. Okay, 3.5 kilometers. Let's go ahead and do another burn now. So this speed should get down to pretty low. 4.6, close enough. Okay, then of course I spin it around. And add speed to its orbit. This is the annoying part. This is the part where you really want to be able to maneuver your rocket fast, because I've tried this with big, slow-to-maneuver rockets. Well, actually, the last time I tried it with this rocket, I didn't have nearly enough RCS in it, and if it swings around too slowly, you actually kind of miss your chance. And when you should be doing the burn, you end up missing, and you slide past at a decent speed, and it's really a pain to recover from that. Let's go to 20. Good enough. Okay. So that puts our separation at only 0.6. So we're going to go ahead and repeat that process. Our goal, of course, is to get a separation eventually of 0, but like, I don't know, 200, 300 meters. I'll call good. And the other way you can measure this is you can actually look on your nav ball, and if the pink and the yellow periapsis, or whatever that is, markers are actually overlapping each other, that means you're in the same orbit. But they have to be overlapping each other like to this exact pixel. But, you know, that's another way of getting a gauge of how close you are. Okay, so what's my minimum distance? I think I said 0.6. Okay, so when we're at like, I don't know, 0.8, I'll do another burn. Just like the one we just did. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and cancel out that speed. And hopefully this time we'll be able to get our speed to pretty much just 0, 0, 0. 0.5 meters per second. That's pretty close to 0. Okay. And of course, this time when I accelerate near it, I'll want to be a little more careful, because you are at the range now, close enough that if I'm not careful, I could easily collide with it, which is obviously not a good thing. Plenty of fuel in this rocket. I'm liking this rocket. It's doing a good job. I'm going to actually be throwing away a little fuel, I think, which is always a little heartbreaking, but what are you going to do? 0.1 kilometers. That's about as good as we're going to get. Okay. And this is, of course, even at 1x, you can see how fast that speed meter is going down. So this is where you really want your rocket to be maneuverable, because if it takes you longer than that time to turn around, you're kind of effed. If you get too far past, it's really, really hard to recover and get back to where you should be. And you can see I'm close enough now. You can see the station's lights. It's actually starting to be visually distinct here. Okay. Oh, you can see the nice the moon in the background. That's a lovely picture. Let's get our speed killed here. Okay, 0.7. I'm still approaching it very slowly now. Let's do... I'm just going to use this main engine. This is probably not the best idea, but I'm going to go ahead and use this main engine and try to get within, I don't know, 30 or 40 meters because I want to save my RCS for when I really need it. And I'm already down half. So let's take it. I'm almost afraid to even fire at all at this distance, though. It's kind of too close for comfort. I don't know. The other thing is this engine isn't very good. It has a, it's not designed for the orbital stuff, so its throttle is not very precise. Okay, that's as slow as it's going to get. Now the fun part. Okay, so let's get rid of this engine. I'm going to swing around, and it's got separators on it. But let's aim it in a direction I don't want to, that won't screw with my orbit too much. So I'll go ahead and aim it just like this-ish. Close enough. Actually, what I'm going to do is kind of be a jerk and quick save. Okay, so let's throw all this stuff out. Bye-bye, engine. Nice to have seen you. Go far, far away. Now, like I said before, I want to control from my Clampotron because that's now the front for all reasonable purposes of my rocket. And from here on out, it's all RCS and monoprop, which is kind of a good thing and kind of a bad thing. Also, it's nighttime. I don't know. A friend of mine pointed out that every time he does docking maneuvers, it ends up nighttime by the time he actually gets situated, and that seems to be the case here, too. Whoops. I accidentally just fired these rocket motors instead of my RCS. That's no good. Not a big deal because there's nothing wrong with those rocket motors, but you know. Okay, now one of the problems we have is I'm actually aimed towards the front of this thing. So I actually kind of need to go past it and turn around. Slow it down a bit. And of course the key here is slow and steady wins the race. Which is to say there's no race, but you want to do all your maneuvers very slowly. Okay, so let's slide past it like here. This is a good separation distance. You'll get a good look. These lights, unfortunately, don't illuminate my own craft very easily, but they're aimed towards the docking port, so at least they're aimed towards what they need to be aimed towards. I'm a big fan of putting lights all over my spacecraft. And I might have a problem here. I'm getting kind of close. Oops. Let's thrust out that way a bit. Maybe a little too much there. And then, hang on, let me manipulate my nav ball here so it's easier to navigate. Okay, there we go. I got decent clearance. So there's my beautiful station, as you can see. Plenty of docking connectors I haven't used yet. Just in case anyone was worried. Got a good view of it. My Kerbal knots are inside the first 3 modules here. So I got one observer in the big window module and then 2 of these, whatever they're called, handy cans or whatever, that just basically do nothing but store Kerbals. And each of those seats 4, and I think I have 3 of those. So it has a total crew of 7. As you can see, plenty of RCS. I think I got a battery up here somewhere. And of course I'm docking another battery. I got tons of solar cells. It's a pretty good station if I just say so myself. Okay, let's slow it down. Let's see here. So, trying to figure out if I just want to, well, I need to rotate this 180 degrees no matter what happens. So let's just do that. And I'll just try to, if I have my nav ball set right, which right now it looks like it's actually almost a full 180 off. If you have your nav ball set right and you're not terrible at this, you can actually just shift it into place. Because one of the nice things about RCS is you can thrust in any direction. But, yeah, it's kind of tough to keep it stable when you're doing it like this, too. Okay. And my mass is not centered, so unfortunately... Oops, I want to go up a little bit. I almost have too many lights. Look how bright that is. Jeez. So there's a lot of just eyeballing it and turning your camera so you can eyeball it here. Cancel my upward movement there. Oops, I might have canceled a little too much. This is by far the hardest thing to do in this game. That includes landing on min-must and planting a flag and taking off again and returning to Kerbal. This is actually significantly more difficult than that, believe it or not. Whoops, wrong way, damn it. Okay, let's go ahead and rotate and line up here. And again, very gentle, gentle, gentle movements. When you're this close, even your rotation movements can change your speed because, you know, the RCS is just, it's not perfect, unfortunately. Pretty well lined up here. I'm going to have to slow my forward progress a bit. Oops, well, whatever. Looking good. And again, you want to do this super, super slow. It's looking good. God damn. You get one lined up and the other one gets off. Damn 3 dimensions. There we go. Boom. Docked. Kind of a rough docking. A little bit of bumpage. As you saw there at the end. It kind of hit a little bit hard. But hey, we're 1 unit right now. I call that a complete success. So, yeah, here's my crew of Kerbals. Like I said, I got 7 of them in there. 1 piloting, 3 in here, 3 in here. I got 4 dock connectors, a decent, like, second to largest size fuel tank, the biggest RCS tank. I think there's a battery in the stack here. I can't tell if that's that's just a separator. There's a battery. So I got a battery, plenty of solar cells, 8 solar cells on my connector module. And of course, 4 other connectors here. All the connectors are spaced out, so I should be able to dock almost anything here without any risk of damage to the rest of the ship, which is nice. I tried to keep these pylons as far from the connectors as I could, and I actually could have put them up another segment, but whatever. They're good as is. It's got 4 symmetry most of the way, except for all of these modules. These pylons are 3 symmetry, but the 3 symmetry don't line up. See, look at that. That one doesn't line up with that one. It's very frustrating. Let's scrap it and start over. It doesn't line up right. Anyway. Yeah. It's a pretty good looking space station. Now it's got nuclear engines. It's got enough fuel to take it anywhere. I have no idea how much fuel it takes to get anywhere, but it's got, I don't know, 57, 60 fuel. That's pretty good. And crap loads of monoprop, which of course you need. And there we go. That's a good night's work. I'm just going to gaze at its beauty for a while. Maybe take a screenshot and post it on Steam. Maybe I'll get into the light here. Oh, it's sunrise. Let's get a sunrise screenshot. Let's turn off the lights and let the sun illuminate it. Yeah. Get the good angle here. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's better with the lights on. There we go. That's my Kerbal screenshot for the day. And the nice thing is this fuel debris is in a completely different orbit. As you can see, it's already 23 kilometers away and it's increasing. And I hopefully will never, ever, ever see that debris again as long as I play this game. Of course, the big problem with this game is that if you don't get rid of your debris, you will collide with it next time you try to dock. So I try to use those... they're little solid rocket boost Sepatrons to separate your rocket, and that's my strategy for dealing with crap like that. But hey, as long as it's falling away from me, I am happy. Okay, so I guess the next thing to add here is I want to add some landers and some fuel tanks. I got 8 ports. That's tons of ports. I can add whatever I like. If I add 4 of those orange fuel tanks, this would have enough fuel to go anywhere, I'm sure. And I could probably put like 2 landers on each of those ports too. So that means I could have, you know, 8 landers and 4 orange fuel tanks, and that would be a pretty damn good spaceship. And I could take it all over the place and tool around. Anyway, I am shutting down the stream. Thanks for joining.